Bengals running back Joe Mixon was back in court today facing a misdemeanor charge of aggravated menacing.
So Mixon is accused of cutting off a woman on 3rd Street downtown last January and then pointing a gun at her.
You can see we have team coverage tonight. Candace Hare spoke with a legal expert about the case, but we start with Mike Shell, who has new details from the courtroom.
Yeah, Rob, Joe Mixon's attorneys have said from the very start of this trial that this is a he said, she said case because the only two people who really know what happened are Joe Mixon and the woman he's accused of pointing a gun at. Now, this is a very difficult case to tell, very story to tell, because every single prosecution witness, including a Cincinnati police officer and the alleged victim herself, would not allow us to record their testimony. The alleged victim, who we are not identifying, claims she was on her way to work when Joe Mixon cut her off and nearly hit her car on 3rd Street. The prosecution called the alleged victim's boss to the stand, who said when she came into work, she seemed frazzled, upset, scared, and had shallow breathing, and that she was physically shaking. Mixon is accused of pointing a gun at the woman at 2nd and Walnut after the woman pulled up alongside his car. The woman's boss testified that he told her to go directly to the Cincinnati police substation at the Banks.
So this was how long after the incident that she's in the lobby of CBS reporting this?
The officer said it was about 14 minutes. The officer said he used a photo taken by the woman to run the plates and found out that the Jeep was registered to Joe Mixon, but did not tell the woman. He then came out from behind the glass to interview her after she said she seemed scared. Mixon is accused of telling the victim, quote, "You should be popped in the face. I should shoot you. The police can't get me," end quote. The woman admitted to pulling up alongside of Mixon at 2nd and Walnut before rolling her window down, flipping Mixon off and calling him the B word. Mixon's attorney says the woman was the one who was angry, not his client.
You cut me off. I get upset and angry because I'm now engaged in road rage because you cut me off. So in reality, is the one that's guilty of road rage.
While speaking to the officer, who is African-American, Merlin Shiverdecker asked him if he thought that the woman's comments to Mixon may have been racially motivated. The judge did not allow the officer to answer.
As a black man, what would you think if somebody said, "bitch," if you're going to pull it out and use it? Would you consider that a derogatory term?
Sustain.
Now, the bench trial is expected to wrap up tomorrow. Judge Gwen Bender will decide Mixon's fate. Now, in his opening statement, Mixon's attorney said that the Bengals running back would take the stand in his own defense. We'll see if that happens tomorrow afternoon. With more on Mixon's legal situation, send it back to Candace Hare in studio. Candace?
Yes, Mike. So with that case continuing, I did reach out to one of our legal analysts to answer some of the questions that we have. And the first question that was on the minds of some was, why might Joe Mixon have waived his right to a jury trial? So I asked our legal analyst, Mike Allen, and he tells me that this could be because the defense team is confident in the judge's ability to decide this case. Allen noted that Judge Gwen Bender is a veteran judge. We also have heard mixed messages, as you heard Mike Shell allude to, about whether or not Mixon will take the stand on his own behalf. As Mike Shell just said, you may recall Mixon's attorney said during opening statements that he would take the stand. That did not happen today and may not happen at all. So I asked Allen to describe the back and forth between attorney and client when making this type of decision. Take a listen.
Well, you want to know that if he takes the stand, that he can do a good job doing it, how he expresses himself, whether he's believable or not. That's more important in a jury trial, but it's still important in a bench trial. And that's one of the hardest decisions that a defense lawyer has to make, whether to put your client up on the stand or not. If they feel, his defense attorneys feel, that the state has not done a good job and not proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt, they probably won't put him up.
Now, Allen does tell me that when it's all said and done, it is the client's decision whether or not to take the stand, but that more often than not, the client accepts the attorney's reasoning when it comes to decisions like this. Reporting live in studio, Candace Hare, Fox 19 Now.